"If you can't pay, then just be my second wife," he said, sipping Lipton like he was offering me a job. I wish I was joking. I wish this was one of those "you won't believe what happened to me" kind of stories that end in a laugh. But this is my actual life. My name is Sade, single mother of one, unofficial queen of managing, and Pa Monday. Yes, Monday. That's his real name. And ironically, every Monday morning, he appears at my door like a ghost of poverty past. You see, life in Lagos is not for the weak. Between feeding my 5-year-old son, David, paying for his school fees, keeping my Okrika boutique running, and trying not to lose my mind, rent just slipped. 1 month turned into 2, 2 turned into 3. And that's when Pa Monday showed up with his unsolicited offer. That morning, I had just warmed the leftover jollof rice, 1 spoon left, split it between myself and David, with him getting the lion's share. I was still chewing slowly, pretending I was full when I heard the dreaded knock. Knock, knock. Not once, not twice. 3 solid knocks. The kind that says, "I'm not leaving." I opened the door halfway, already rehearsing the same excuse I'd given for the past 3 weeks. "I'll pay you next week, sir." But before I could even speak, he stepped inside like it was his father's compound. "Sade," he said, adjusting his trouser that refused to sit on his waist. "Let me not stress you. I have solution." That was the first red flag. Solution in Lagos usually means wahala. I blinked. "Solution, sir." He smiled. The kind of smile you see in Nollywood. Movies just before the villain strikes. "Yes, see, you're a fine girl. Hard-working. You cook well. I can smell it from my flat. So why are you stressing yourself?" I didn't like where this was going. I slowly shifted closer to the door, ready to fake a fainting spell. Then he dropped the bomb. "If you can't pay, then just be my second wife." Sorry. What? For a moment I thought he was joking. I looked around the room for hidden cameras. Maybe it was a prank show, maybe a buka would walk in clapping, but no. Pa Monday was dead serious. "Wife?" I asked, with my eyes wide like NEPA just restored light. He nodded, sitting on my plastic chair like he had bought it. "Yes, now. I have only one wife in the village. She's not even on Facebook. You'll be here in second wife, in charge of the Face Me, I Face You compound." I could feel my ancestors staring at me in disbelief. My father didn't fight in the Biafran War for this. I laughed, loud and long, not because it was funny, but because if I didn't laugh, I might scream. "Sir, with all due respect, I would rather mop the ocean with a toothbrush than marry you," I said, trying to push him out gently. He shrugged, unfazed. "Think about it, oh. You'll eat free, live free, and still be collecting bride price in monthly installment." From that day, Pa Monday switched tactics. First week, he started accidentally locking the compound gate so I'd beg him. Second week, third week, he started sending me food, amala and gabegiri, with a flower on the tray. Now I'm stuck in the weirdest love triangle ever. Me, poverty, and a landlord with love handles. But it gets worse. Just when I thought things couldn't get any more ridiculous, guess who shows up to my shop with a ring and a photographer? His wife. Yes, his real first wife from the village. She said, and I quote, "Since my husband wants to marry you, let me see if you have the hips to carry our family lineage." Now the entire street is talking. My neighbors avoid eye contact. My son keeps asking why Uncle Monday calls me Iyawo, and I'm considering packing into my church if they'll let me sleep behind the altar. The next Saturday, I wore my most anti-wife material outfit. A faded tie and dye wrapper, hairnet, mismatched slippers, and face like I chewed bitter leaf for breakfast. I wanted to send a clear message. This is not your dream bride, but Pa Monday. Oh, he came prepared. White kaftan, cheap sunglasses, sprayed his body with so much body spray that mosquitoes collapsed mid-air. He had this grin like he just won a wife on promo Friday. Let's go ayawo, he said, offering me his elbow like we were on a red carpet. I hissed so loud, even his ancestors flinched. We walked down to his sitting room, one that still had the plastic on the chairs like they were expecting Jesus. And there they were, 4 men and 2 women, all looking me up and down like I was a goat on sale at mile 12. This is the beauty I told you about, he said, puffing his chest like a turkey. She's shy, but she's ready. Ready? Who is ready? I cleared my throat. Good. Afternoon. Before you people start sharing bride price list, let me explain something. The monologue. That broke the compound. I stood up. My wrapper shifted. I didn't care, because I want to marry anybody. I'm here because somebody's landlord thinks hunger is proposal. Because I owe rent, he wants to turn me into a second wife. But let me ask, how many cows did your first wife's family collect? Eh? How many yams? And now because rent is enwa 20,000, you want to use marriage to collect change. His uncle coughed, but I didn't stop. I'm raising a son on my own, selling clothes in the sun, in the rain. I wake up by 5 a.m. to hustle, and now the reward is polygamy. May thunder not confuse me. Suddenly, Mama Monday, aka the first wife, stood up and clapped twice. That's why I said it. I said this Lagos girl has fire in her. Monday, look at her. You want to turn her to second wife when you can't even fix the borehole. See? As she's talking with sense. She walked over to me and whispered, you sure say you don't want to marry Am? Because me, I go pack leave Am for you. I shook my head violently. Ma, please. I just want my peace, not your property. But Pa Monday wasn't done. After I stormed out, I thought the madness had ended. I thought maybe, just maybe I could go back to begging NEPA and hawking vintage jeans in peace. But no. That night, as I tried to rest, I heard a soft knock on my door. I opened it. No one, just a bag of rice, a whole 25 kilos, with a note attached. If you change your mind, I'm still available. Love, Pa Monday. Now the whole compound is divided. Some are calling me Iyawo elect and telling me to just collect the rice and marry. Some are warning me to move out before he starts saying I led him on. One neighbor, Auntie Bola, even offered to let me squat in her room for a while. Just until this man removes marriage from his brain, she said. David? He's no help. He keeps asking, Mummy, is Uncle Monday going to be my new daddy? Now I have to attend church with makeup and extra anointing oil. Because this man is not only persistent, he now claims God showed him in a dream that I'm his missing rib. But guess what? I have a plan. I'm talking to a social media influencer to post my story. I've secretly recorded some of his wildest love speeches. I'm thinking of going viral. Not for fame, but for freedom. Because in this Lagos, if you don't fight your landlord with wisdom, next thing he'll rename your flat wife quarters. I did it. I finally posted it. The video was less than 2 minutes, but it held the weight of 3 months of unpaid rent, 5 months of frustration, and one highly delusional landlord's obsession. I titled it, My Landlord Wants to Marry Me Because I'm Broke. Lagos is not real. I wore my pink bonnet, held my phone with a shaky hand, and spoke directly into the camera. You people, come and see what I'm facing. Because I owe rent, this man said I should become his second wife. Not pay small, or, not extension or, he said, quote, be my second wife and let us grow old together. Someone that doesn't even flush after using the toilet. Please, is this love or soft kidnapping? By morning, the video had 32,000 views. By afternoon, it hit 120K. Comments started flying in like pepper soup at a Yoruba wedding. Omo! This Lagos go make you marry for Wi-Fi. Please marry him and collect title deed. We move. Drop his number a beg. I want to price him for rent. Even an Instagram blog reposted it with the caption, landlord turned lover, when house. Rent becomes dowry. But Pa Monday, he entered celebrity mode instead of shame. My landlord entered influencer mode. He wore dark shades, started walking around the compound. This is about women's dignity and poverty. I agreed, partly to expose the madness, partly to distract myself from eating soaked Gary again. But the moment we started filming in front of the compound, Pa Monday brought out a banner from nowhere. It read, Team Said and Monday, 2024, love is greater than rent. I almost passed out. In the compound, everything is upside down. Mama Monday has become my biggest supporter. She brings me soup, helps me with David, even gave me wrapper and said, whether or not you marry him, you must eat him, you must eat. The other tenants have created a TikTok dance to the "This is how Jezebels enter home through rent," one shouted. The TikTok dance to the "This is how Jezebels enter home through rent," one shouted. Rent, one shouted. The men? They're using it as an excuse not to pay their own rent. Pa Monday, if Sade gets rent-free love, what of us? We're all your children in this compound, one guy cried with a straight face. But the story takes a twist. Last night around 11 p.m., I got a call from an unknown number. Hello? Is this Miss Said? Yes. Who's this? This is Barrister A.O. I represent a real estate company in Lekki. We saw your story. We'd like to offer you a short-term housing contract and some rent support in exchange for a brand campaign. I nearly dropped my phone into my bowl of EBA, a brand deal, for surviving madness. I haven't told Pa Monday yet, but I plan to move. Oh, and I'm going to surprise him before I leave. Let's just say I found his real marriage certificate, and his real name is not even Monday. The plan was simple. Move out. Leave quietly. Block Pa Monday. Reclaim my peace. But Lagos will not let you be soft, especially not when drama is already trending. The morning I was supposed to leave, compound children had already gathered in front of my door like it was a movie premiere. Auntie Sad, are you really leaving? Is Uncle Monday coming with you? Please sing that rent song one more time. I smiled politely, packed my Ghana Must Go bags, and quietly waited for the bolt ride from the real estate company. They had arranged a 2-bedroom apartment for me in Ogudu. Cute kitchen, real toilet seat. No, if you flush, don't bathe situation. As I carried the last bag outside, there he was, standing in his singlet, wrapper, and crocodile slippers. Pa Monday. He looked at me with moist eyes and trembling lips, like I was leaving with both his heart and NEPA meter. You're really going? He asked, voice low. Yes, sir. I'm finally choosing peace. He scratched his head, the one that hadn't seen a barbershop since COVID. Said, I know, I joked too much, but I meant what I said. You're a good woman. You didn't have to shame me online. I paused. For once he sounded almost human. I replied gently, I didn't shame you. You shamed yourself when you thought love should be bought with. Then I entered the car, drove off. I thought that was it, but it wasn't. Oh, it wasn't. 10 minutes later, I got a WhatsApp message from Mama Monday. Said, come back home, or at least turn on Channels TV. You need to see this. Channels TV? I opened my phone, and what did I see? Live from Ijegunle, a middle-aged man crying, holding a large cardboard sign. Said, forgive me. I only wanted love. I'm sorry. Behind him, drummers, dancers, a banner that read, Welcome home, my heart. I am now rent-free forever. It was a proposal rally in front of the whole compound, on television, nationwide. I screamed so loud even the driver hit the brakes. Meanwhile in Ogudu, the new apartment was calm. Fresh paint, working fan, a fridge that didn't grow icebergs. But my name, it was everywhere, on gossip blogs, on WhatsApp family groups. Even my church women's fellowship message, "We thank God for your deliverance. From temptation, Sister Said, plus attend night vigil this Friday." I finally sat down, sighed, and poured myself cold zobo. But then I noticed something strange, an envelope. Under the rug, I picked it up. It was addressed to me. Existed. The third wife inside. The envelope was a handwritten letter. "Dear Sad, you don't know me. My name is Rhoda. I'm Pa Monday's real second wife. We married in Badagry 6 years ago, before Mama Monday came back from the village. He told me I was the only one. Then I saw you on Instagram. You're not the problem, he is. Let's talk." I almost dropped my zobo. So now, it's not second wife drama. It's third wife alliance. And I just moved to Ogudu. I thought this was the end. But no. Now I have a new mission, unite with wife number 2. Expose Pa Monday once and for all. And possibly produce a web series. First of all, I didn't even know men like Pa Monday had the energy for one wife, let alone 3. His trousers barely stayed on his waist. But life, my sister, life will humble you. That same evening, I arranged to meet Rhoda, wife number 2, at a buka in Yaba, not even a fancy one, the kind where you sit on plastic chairs, and if you're lucky, the cat under the table. Rhoda walked in. Tall, caramel-skinned, with short, natural hair and pepper-red lipstick. She was carrying a file. I got scared. "Is this a court case or a family meeting?" I joked. She sat down, dropped the file like it was a crime report, and said, "Sis, you're not the only one who has suffered." The confession files inside. That file was evidence. Real FBI-style evidence. Photocopy of her marriage certificate, dated 2018. Screenshots of chats where he promised her land in Mo. Even a list of women she had suspected over the years. And guess what? I was number 4 on that list. She leaned in and whispered, "I'm not mad at you. I want to bring this man down, but I can't do it alone." My eyes widened. "Bring him down how?" She sipped her malt and said calmly, "Expose him, publicly, fully, with receipts. We'll start with the wives support Zoom meeting." Yes. She said Zoom. Turns out Rhoda had created a secret WhatsApp group, Monday's Victims Anonymous. Current members, Rhoda, wife number 2. Cecilia, ex-girlfriend turned co-tenant. Ngozi, his neighbor who caught him using her DSTV subscription. Me, Sade, chairlady of unpaid rent proposals. That night we had a Zoom call. Rhoda presented PowerPoint slides like it was NYSC orientation. Slide 1, Pa Monday's lies and laundry habits. Slide 2, how he collects love and rent together. Slide 3, action plan. Cecilia from Benin kept saying, "This man must suffer. I swear, I go carry am for shrine." Ngozi offered to leak audio recordings of his romantic threats. Me? I was still trying to all this was real life. Background music, even sub-night. 2 million views in 24 hours. Pa Monday's picture was trending under the hashtag. Everybody has an opinion. Pastors are using him as sermon examples. Relationship experts are debating, should love cancel death? Someone even designed a t-shirt, "Oh, we rent get married," selling N6,500 per piece, hosting empowerment seminars. Last week, I sat on a panel next to an actress who played a wicked landlord in a Yoruba film. who played a wicked landlord in a Yoruba film. But it's not over yet, because just this morning, I got a letter, hand-delivered, stamped. It read, stamped. It read, Dear Sade, I, Monday for defamation of character, emotional damage, and digital bullying. See you in small claims court. Sincerely, your ex-future husband. Oh, it's on. The courtroom was hotter than Lagos traffic at 4 p.m. Small claims court, they said. But there was nothing small about the drama that was about to unfold. Sitting across from me was Pa Monday, in full agbada. Yes, full agbada with dark shades indoors. He was holding a Bible in one hand. He wasn't sure if he was in court or at an altar. I sat in the defendant's seat, surrounded by Rhoda, second wife with vengeance in her blood, Cecilia, the ex-girlfriend. With a file of screenshots, Mama Monday, the legal first wife, now wearing lace and red lipstick like she came to scatter wedding, not attend court. Ngozi, who kept shouting, Tell the judge about the DSTV. Our squad was looking like the real housewives of Yaba Federal Housing. The charges? According to Pa Monday, we had ruined his name, damaged his love life, scattered his future family plan, and worst of all, made his tenants refuse to pay rent because love is now currency. He stood up to defend himself. Your Honor, I was only trying to be a helper. I offered marriage as a solution. I never forced anyone. It was a mutual proposal. The judge blinked. You asked her to marry you because she owed rent, he smiled proudly. Yes, sir. I call it romantic rent resolution, Lagos style. Slowly. Are you all right at all? The evidence parade. Rhoda stepped up first. She brought out her wedding certificate and pictures of herself and Pa Monday in matching Ankara from 2018. This man married me in secret. Then came to Lagos and started collecting wives like house rent receipts. Cecilia dropped printouts of their chat. PM. Come and collect 2G data and maybe some love. CEC. Oga, I just want light in my room. PM. Light is from above. My heart, too. Ngozi played a voice note where he said, If Sade says no, I still have plan B. I'll promote her to landlady and demote her dignity. The courtroom gasped. Even the court clerk removed her wig and shouted, Ah, this man is mad. Mama Monday's final blow. The judge asked her, Madam, you're his legal wife. Do you support him? She stood tall and said, Your Honor, even. Jesus said, love your neighbor. But he never said marry them because they owe you money. She turned to her husband and pointed. You think you're romantic, but you're just a disgrace in love and in plumbing. The toilet hasn't flushed since 2020. Laughter exploded in the courtroom. Even the judge chuckled. The verdict. The judge banged his gavel. I am not here for comedy, but clearly this man has made marriage a business venture. Therefore, I dismiss this case and advise Mr. Monday to seek both legal and spiritual counseling. Then he looked at me. Sad, I hope you've paid your rent? I stood. Your Honor, I moved out. I now stay in a place where the only thing expected of me is to flush the toilet. Crowd. Gibam! But guess what? As we were walking out of the court, a young reporter ran up to me with a microphone. Miss Sade, Nigeria's most wanted tenant. Before I could respond, a man in a suit stepped out of a black Prado and handed me a card. Good day, madam. We're producing a new TV series. It's called Rent and Romance. You're exactly the kind of real-life story we want. Series, he smiled. Single mom turns down landlord's proposal, builds her brand, and becomes a landlady herself. You in? I turned to Rhoda. She nodded slowly, smirking. Let's turn your... The audition that changed everything. Sade, I'm proud of you. Sade, I'm proud of you. You turned pain into power. Can we talk? You turned pain into power. Can we talk? I replied with a voice note. I just finished paying rent with my own money. I don't need voice note. I just finished paying rent with my own money. I don't need more men. I need more peace. 1 year later, I own the very house where I used to squat. Same face me, I face you. I bought it, renovated it, installed prepaid meter in every room, painted the walls soft cream, fixed the plumbing. And guess what? I made Mama Monday the new caretaker. She now collects rent legally and peacefully. No marriage proposals included. As for Pa Monday, he now stays in the boys' quarters. Rent-free. Of course. The moral of the story, sometimes life will corner you into humiliation. People will try to take advantage of your need, especially as a woman. That your hunger means desperation. But what they forget is this. When a woman chooses dignity over disgrace, peace over pressure, and wisdom over shortcuts, her story doesn't end in pity. It becomes power. I owed 3 months' rent. Now I'm the landlord, and no, I didn't marry anybody to get here. 3 months. That was all the time Amaka had to live the fairy tale of a newlywed. 3 months of laughter, kisses before work, and late-night pillow talk where dreams were built. Her husband, Somto, had landed the contract of a lifetime, an international oil deal in Dubai. It was huge, life-changing. He tried to process her visa, but you know how immigration can be in this part of the world. Paperwork delays, endless appointments. So he had to leave alone. Before he left, Amaka had only one request. Please, she whispered one evening, lying on his chest, let my sister Ada stay with me. You know your mom and Uju don't like me. Somto hesitated, torn between loyalty and logic. Babe, they're my blood. They promised to take care of you. And that's what I'm afraid of. Still, the next morning Somto went to his family house. He tried to gently explain Amaka's preference, hoping they'd understand. But Mama Somto, that woman, arched her brows so high you'd think her forehead was trying to touch heaven, she said. What? She snapped. So I, her husband's mother, am now a threat to her? She wants her own sister so she can be sneaking men into my son's house, Abi? Uju, the younger sister, that one always ready with a smirk, chimed in. Maybe that's how she trapped Somto in the first place. Those ones with sweet tongues and small waists. From that day, it wasn't just about Slint mission. One day she wore her clothes. Uju, please, next time ask before you... Ask who? Your father's house clothes? You married... Mama would cook and tell him, no wonder you haven't carried Belle yet. But Amaka was pregnant. She found out one quiet Saturday morning and cried in the bathroom. Tears of joy during their late-night WhatsApp call. He cried too. They prayed. He heard. But joy is fragile in a house full of snakes. Mama insisted Amaka pound yam, even after she said she felt dizzy. Uju, so she won't cook. That fateful Thursday, Amaka fainted in the kitchen. She woke up in the hospital. No baby. The doctor said she fell, hit her side hard. Internal bleeding. When Somto called, Mama cried louder than the ambulance. She was shouting at me, oh! I told her to rest, but she charged at me like a mad dog. She fell. Uju added fuel. Brother, she out to see some man. Maybe the pregnancy wasn't even yours. Somto didn't know what to think. Amaka, bruised and broken, stared at her phone for hours waiting for his call. It didn't come that night. Mama didn't know. Before leaving, Somto had installed a hidden nanny cam in the living room. Not because he didn't trust Amaka, but because he didn't trust his mother. And a week later, Somto opened his laptop, poured himself a drink in his Dubai apartment, and pressed play. What he saw made his blood freeze. Mama spitting in Amaka's food. Uju secretly placing her underwear in Somto's drawer, giggling. Amaka collapsing while carrying a hot pot. Mama stepping over her like a bag of rice. Somto called Amaka at 3 a.m. her time. Baby, I'm sorry. I saw everything. Tears ran down, her face like a broken tap. He continued, voice shaking with rage. Don't say anything, don't do anything, I'm coming home. The screen went black. Amaka stared at the phone. Then, a knock. 3 taps again, but this time, when she opened the door, Mama wasn't smiling, and Uju was holding her phone. Who are you talking to at this hour? Mama asked coldly. Uju leaned in. Hope it's not one of your midnight boyfriends. Again? Amaka stood tall. Taller than her pain, she smiled. You'll see. The morning after the 3 a.m. call, Amaka was no longer the same. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't crying. She was silent. Calm. Too calm. She got up early, cleaned the entire house, made breakfast, and set the table. Uju looked suspicious. This, one you're forming perfect housewife today. Hope you didn't poison this food, oh. You this husband snatcher. Amaka smiled. Eat and find out. 4 days later, a silver SUV rolled quietly into the estate. Somto stepped out, dressed in black, face cold, eyes tired. His heart was beating hard, not from jet lag, but fury. He had watched more clips from the hidden camera, footage of his wife vomiting blood, footage of his mother praying that she would die or run mad so Somto can marry a real wife. He didn't call anyone, he didn't want a welcome party, he wanted the truth. That afternoon, Mama Somto was on the couch, watching Africa Magic, her legs up like she owned the house. Uju was on TikTok, making dance videos in Amaka's boo-boo. Then, the door opened. Somto walked in, slowly stood up. Ah, my son, what a surprise. You didn't tell us. Where's Amaka? His voice was sharp, cutting. Uju stammered. She went to market. Amaka stepped out of the kitchen holding a tray of jollof rice. She paused when she saw him. Their eyes locked, then tears. She dropped the tray and ran to him. Somto held her like he was holding a fragile treasure, because she was. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't protect you. They all sat in the living room. Amaka quiet. Somto stone-faced. Mama fidgeting. Uju chewing invisible gum. Somto pulled out his laptop, clicked play, silence. Then, hell broke loose. Mama na editing. They edited this thing. Somto said nothing, just watched. He watched his mother slap Amaka, watched Uju pour salt in her bathwater, watched his wife curl up, clutching her, belly screaming for help, and no one moved. When the video ended, the room was quiet again. Somto turned slowly to his mother. Mommy, you caused my baby's death. Mama's mouth opened, but no words came. By evening, Pastor Ikena had arrived. Somto called him, not for prayers, but for witness. I want peace, he told the pastor, but said, loudly, they all gathered, and then the bombshell. Amaka stood and spoke everything. During cold nights, how Uju once locked her outside at midnight and said she was doing rounds. How they told neighbors she was barren before the miscarriage even happened. The pastor's eyes watered. Mama Somto, this is beyond wickedness. This is witchcraft in daylight. Just when you think the story has peaked, something unexpected drops. Amaka stands up to go to the restroom. Uju quickly picks up her phone and starts texting. But Somto had already cloned her number. He reads everything on his own phone. She doesn't know yet. We should finish what we started. Meet me tonight at that same place. He shows the message to the pastor. The pastor reads it, looks at Uju. Uju, what are you planning to finish? Uju stands. It's not me. It's my friend's phone. Your friend's number is saved on your phone as me. Nice try. Knock knock. Not 3 taps this time. 4 strong knocks. With authority, 2 officers walk in. Are you Mrs. Uju Naji? Yes. No, I mean, why? You're under investigation for attempted assault, false accusation, and conspiracy to cause harm. Mama Somto jumps up. You're arresting my daughter? Do you know who I am? The second officer calmly responds. Do you know who sent us? He points at Somto. This man. That night, Amaka sits in her room alone. No makeup, no smiles. Just peace. Somto enters. Pack your things, baby. We're moving. I found a better house. She looks up. What about them? He shrugs. Let them stay here. With their ghost, the house was quiet. Not peaceful. Just still. Mama Somto sat alone in the living room, Bible on her lap, prayer beads in hand, but her mind was elsewhere. She kept replaying the scene from last night, the humiliation, the arrest, her own son, choosing a woman he barely knew over the womb that bore him. She closed her eyes and whispered, Chukwu, fight for me. Expose this girl. She must fall. She must fall. But sometimes, when you pray for someone to fall, decide to test you instead. 2 days later, a small brown envelope arrived at Somto and Amaka's new residence. Just their names. Inside, printed photos, stage scenes. One of the pictures, the stranger was actually Amaka's cousin, Chinedu, from her late father's side. She hadn't seen him in 8 years. They met by coincidence, had lunch to catch up, laughed about old family tales. But Uju made sure to pay the camera guy to get the perfect angles. Angles that screamed cheating. That night, Amaka sat on the floor. Somto, I swear I don't know who did this. That's my cousin. His name is Chinedu. Ask my mother, ask my uncle. But Somto was silent, still, expression unreadable. She reached for his hand. Please, believe me. He looked at her. I want to, but I don't know who to trust anymore. Then he walked out, left her there, alone, again. Back at the family house, Mama Somto was seated with a man, tall, slim, eyes like razors. Prophet, also they called him. She placed a bundle of naira on the table. I want the truth. I want to know who this girl is, where she came from, and how she trapped my son. The prophet smiled. He pulled out a dirty mirror from a leather pouch. You don't need truth, you need revelation. And once I open this mirror, nothing can be hidden. Mama Somto nodded, smiling. But she didn't know that some mirrors show more than you bargain for. In their room, Somto couldn't sleep. He tossed, turned. Then he opened his laptop again, went through old footage, paused, zoomed. There in the corner of a clip from 2 weeks ago was the same man from the photos, approaching Amaka. But behind him, blurred, just barely visible, was Uju, wearing sunglasses, holding a phone. She was watching, recording, and smirking. Somto blinked. Jesus! He grabbed his phone and called Amaka. She didn't answer. The next morning, Somto returned to the house. Front door open, lights off, no sign of struggle. But Amaka was gone. On the floor? Her phone, cracked screen, still on, still ringing. Picked it up. A new message notification blinked. You said she won. Let's see how she handles round 2. Somto's heart dropped. He called the police. He called Pastor Ikena. He called Amaka's sister. No one knew where she was. Somewhere in an uncompleted building on the outskirts of town. Amaka lay on a mattress, blindfolded, mouth taped, but alive. 2 women stood over her, one short and loud, the other tall, slim, with a familiar smirk. Uju, you thought this was over, she whispered. You thought love would save you? My dear, again. Amaka's eyes widened in horror. The air was damp. Dust hung in the air like suspicion. Amaka's hands were tied. ankles too. She could barely move, but her ears worked, and from the corner of the room she heard Uju's voice. We just need her to confess, record it, whether it's true or not. Once brother hears it from her mouth, it's over. The short woman beside her cackled. And when he dumps her, what next? Uju smiled. Simple. We bring in Ngozi, our childhood friend. She's been eyeing Somto since university. This time, she'll finish what we started. Back in the city, Somto was in his car, sweating, racing through traffic. Pastor Ikenna sat beside him, praying out loud. She must be found in Jesus' name. No evil shall prevail. Lord, expose every hidden plan. Then Somto's phone pinged. An unknown contact dropped a voice note. He clicked play, and there it was. Uju's voice, crystal clear, recorded secretly, then stopped. She looked up at Uju with fire in her eyes. You'll never break me. Uju slapped her. Wrong answer! The short woman stepped forward, raising her hand to strike. When suddenly, bang! The door burst open. Somto stormed in. Behind him, 2 officers. Uju screamed. The short woman ran but was tackled. Somto ran to Amaka, cut her ropes with a pocket knife, and carried her. Baby, I'm here. You're safe now. I swear they'll never touch you again, Amaka cried. But they weren't tears of pain anymore. They were relief. Freedom. Uju tried to explain. Brother, wait, let me, But Pastor Ikenna stepped forward with the audio clip playing on loudspeaker. The entire building echoed with her words. Somto didn't even look at her. Take them, he said to the police. And just like that, Uju's empire of lies crumbled. Back home, Mama Somto was on her knees again, burning incense, muttering psalms. Then her phone rang. She picked. It was Uju, Amhi. They arrested me. She froze. What? Arrested for what? I can't explain. Just call Barrister Kalu. Then the line cut. Mama Somto slowly stood. Her eyes narrowed. So, this girl has now turned my children against me. She reached for her wrapper and muttered, They've declared war. I will show them what real war looks like. Somto and Amaka sat in the hospital room. Doctors said she'd be fine. Just stress, dehydration, and a few bruises. He held her hand the entire time. I failed you, Amaka. I left you with wolves. She smiled weakly. You came back. That's what matters. He kissed her hand. I'm never leaving you again. Then, his phone buzzed. A message. Your mother just filed a lawsuit against your wife for witchcraft, psychological damage, and family manipulation. Somto stared at the screen and laughed. Not a funny laugh, a tired one. Beginning, Mama Somto at a press conference. Flashbulbs popping. Reporters shouting. She wore all white, held a Bible. Standing beside her, a prophet, and Ngozi, the replacement wife, smiling beside her like a lion-filled blood. My son has been spiritually tied by a woman sent to destroy our legacy. But I have fasted. I have seen visions, and I will not rest until the chain is broken. Cameras flashed, but one reporter leaned in and whispered to another, This is starting to look like a Nollywood crime series. They both chuckled, but behind them, Amaka was watching from her car with dark shades and a plan. Amaka had stayed quiet long enough. After the hospital, she didn't rest. She made moves. Behind the scenes, she hired a lawyer, a good one. Barrister Nkem, young, brilliant, and fearless. She also contacted the Women's Advocacy Network, and before long, they started digging into the harassment, the fake accusations, and the miscarriage caused by domestic abuse. What started as whispers in private rooms soon became headlines. Wife of billionaire contract engineer speaks out. I was tortured by my husband's family. Wife suffers miscarriage after alleged assault by mother-in-law and sister-in-law. Case goes to court, and Mama Somto. Suddenly, all her church friends stopped answering her calls. Even her beloved prophet was arrested for fraud. It was the other side, Mama Somto. When did I having any part in the abuse of your daughter-in-law? Mama raised her chin. Not protection, this is wickedness. Then came the sentence. Uju 4 years in prison. Mama Somto, restraining order, court-mandated therapy, and a public apology or face contempt charges. It was televised across Nigeria.
Magic with their voices. Yet behind the stage curtains, a storm brewed. The competition among them was fierce, for each sister secretly wished to outshine the others. Their mother, a former singer who had long faded into obscurity, had drilled into them that only the best survived in the world of music. Sing with your soul, but never forget the world only has room for one star. She often warned, her eyes filled with the ghosts of unfulfilled dreams. The pressure to succeed had shaped them in different ways. Celeste pushed herself relentlessly, taking vocal lessons beyond what their modest means allowed. Leora cherished their bond more than the limelight, often playing the mediator between her two feuding sisters. Vivian, always impulsive, sought attention not only through her voice, but also through her reckless antics, often causing concern for those who loved her. One fateful evening, a renowned talent scout, Richard Langley, entered the Blue Moon. His presence sent a ripple of excitement through the crowd. When the sisters took the stage, they knew this was their moment to shine. Their voices intertwined in perfect harmony. Yet Celeste subtly raised her volume, attempting to take the lead. Leora, sensing the shift, tried to balance it, while Vivian, unwilling to be overshadowed, matched Celeste's intensity. Their once fluid performance became a battle of vocal prowess. The performance was breathtaking, but Langley had only one offer to make her solo contract. "You're all incredibly talented, but I'm looking," he announced after their performance. "The industry doesn't need a trio. It needs a singular sensation. Think it over. I'll be back tomorrow night." And with that, he left, leaving a thick silence between the sisters. That night, Celeste and Vivian lay awake, their minds racing with possibilities. Leora, on the other hand, felt a deep sadness, knowing that this offer could break them apart. As the next day dawned, an unspoken tension loomed over the sisters. Celeste was the first to voice her ambition. "I should take the contract," she said confidently. "I've always led our performances. You both know it." Vivian scoffed. "I'm the one with the most stage presence. If anyone should go solo, it's me." Leora looked between them, hurt flashing in her eyes. "What about staying together? We've always been stronger as a trio. Maybe you've always been comfortable in the background. But some of us want more," Celeste retorted. The argument escalated, emotions running high. That night, as they took the stage once more, the magic of their heart, only to find the industry harsher than she had imagined. Vivian followed, but without the backing of her sisters. She too struggled. Leora, heartbroken, remained at the Blue Moon Bar, singing alone. As time passed, Celeste found herself singing in small venues, her once bright future dimming under the weight of loneliness. Vivian fell into a downward spiral, using alcohol and reckless behavior to cope with her failing career. Leora, despite her heartbreak, dedicated herself to the bar and nurtured young talents who reminded her of the trio they once were. The years dragged on, each sister walking a lonely road. Celeste started working behind the scenes in music production, hiding her bruised ego behind a mixing board. Vivian drifted from bar to bar, nights, and drowning herself in regret on bad ones. Leora, however, refused to let the past define her, though she carried a longing ache every time she looked at the empty microphone stand where her sisters once stood beside her. Fate had other plans. The Blue Moon Bar, able to sustain itself amid the changing tides of the entertainment industry. The bar owner, an old friend of their late mother, reached out to Leora, suggesting one final grand show to honor the venue's history. Leora agreed, and in a moment of boldness, she sent invitations to Celeste and Vivian. Neither responded. The night of the show arrived, and as Leora took the stage, she felt the weight of their absence pressing against her heart. But as she opened her mouth to sing, a familiar harmony joined her. Celeste stepped onto the stage. Moments later, Vivian followed. Hesitant but willing, the three sisters faced each other, and for the first time in years, they understood they had never truly been completely apart. Their voices soared through the air, weaving a melody of pain, loss. The audience held their breath, witnessing something greater than just a performance. It was a reunion of souls long lost. The final note faded. Replaced by thunderous applause, the sisters embraced, knowing this was their second